We're going to look at some passages from famous texts in the next few videos, and I'm going to start from my very favourite text, The Lord of the Rings. So I want to read you two different dreams had by Frodo. Then he heard a noise in the distance. At first he thought it was a great wind coming over the leaves of the forest. Then he knew that it was not leaves but the sound of the sea far off, a sound he had never heard in waking life, though it had often troubled his dreams. He was on a dark heath, and there was a strange salt smell in the air. Looking up, he saw before him a tall white tower, standing alone on a high ridge. A great desire came over him to climb the tower and see the sea. He started to struggle up the ridge towards the tower, but suddenly a light came in the sky, and there was a noise of thunder. So that's on page 106. And then we have the very famous passage on page 132. That night they heard no noises, but either in his dreams or out of them, he could not tell which, Frodo heard a sweet singing running in his mind, a song that seemed to come like a pale light behind a grey rain curtain, and growing stronger to turn the veil all to glass and silver, until at last it was rolled back, and a far green country opened before him under a swift sunrise. Now, that last passage was, of course, spoken by Gandalf in a very moving scene with Pippin in the movie The Return of the King. It's actually written in The Fellowship of the Ring, and it is Frodo's dream. And these dreams are very much about death, and I think that we can tell that. Now, J.R.R. Tolkien himself had experienced a lot of loss and grief and death in his life. His mother died when he was only 12, and he was then taken care of by a Catholic priest. And so we see a lot of Christian imagery in these dreams. The White Tower and the Sea of Glass are allusions to the book of Revelation in the Bible. And of course, there are a lot of biblical references in The Lord of the Rings. Galadriel is the Virgin Mary, eagles are a very biblical symbol, etc., etc. I also think Tolkien's experience in the First World War and just being surrounded by death feeds into The Lord of the Rings a lot. But it's a beautiful, peaceful image of death. I'm sorry if this is a little bit depressing. A sweet singing sound running in his mind is a beautiful image, as is the far green country and the swift sunrise, of course. The sea is, of course, semiotically an allusion to death. If you think of something like Tennyson's Crossing the Bar,